doing it,
Right.
doing it,
Right.
doing it.
Let's do it, and then let's record the podcast.
Ooh,
Hey-o.
girl.
God damn!
No, thank you.
Did you just deny me?
I did. I'm not into it.
It's probably for the better.
Whose turn is it?
If one
Oh, wait. We need
Oh.
goddams and stuff. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm way ahead of the
Jeez,
game.
I was talking.
Sorry. Can you just not be talking anymore?
Can we get the show on the road? Tell me your fucking story.
God, why are you still at my house?
I guess I'll just show myself out.
I know where the door is.
Oh, man.
Sorry, that was rude.
It's okay. I genuinely wasn't saying anything interesting, and I don't even remember what it
Oh,
was.
that's unfortunate.
All right. Give me your goddamn Aaron.
Did I tell you I deleted Brandon's Red Dead?
You didn't tell me, but this has been a big talk between our friends. And by that, I mean I've heard overheard Lee tell the story probably twice or whatever,
Yeah.
but it is hysterical every time.
Yep. I don't know how I fucking did it. Well, I do. I just saved a lot. On Red Dead, we had 2 campaigns going. I allowed him to play my game of Red Dead like
That's
a good
very
wife.
generous of you.
Yeah, I thought so
very
too.
generous.
And we were on the same mission, so they were all labeled the same thing, but the percentages were different.
Like when you go to save it, it labels it the same thing.
Yeah, it calls it like no good deed or whatever the mission is called. I was saving 3 slots. He was saving 2 slots. Just in case you saved over someone else's, there was still a backup. I was like, fuck you. And
Oh, that's a good plan.
was. You would think. I saved all of them.
All of them?
I
You
didn't-
stole both of his slots?
I stole both of his slots. He does not have a game anymore. I don't know how I did it.
Oh my
I even
God,
double
Erin.
checked to be like, this is mine, right? Yeah, we're fine. And then I
Oh
would save
my
it.
God.
And then Brandon went to play his game like a couple days later, and he's like, this isn't my guy. And I was like, get off my fucking
Yeah, why are
game.
you on my horse? Get out of here.
Get
yeah,
off my
hussy.
game. Get out of here. That's my coat, not your coat. You have a stupid coat. Go get your stupid coat. And then he changed it to the other one that would have been his, and it also was my guy. And I was like, uh-oh.
Our flawless plan did not work out.
Yep.
Yeah, I was there when Brandon told Lee the story about how you stole the slots or whatever,
Yeah.
and I was laughing so hard. But I was also like, at first I was like, oh no, because I understand the severity of that.
Mhm.
And I was like, if that were me, I wouldn't even want to play anymore, to be honest.
He doesn't.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, man, that sucks. I bet she feels so
I felt so
bad.
awful. I like forced him to play it because I was like, you need to keep playing it and change it so that you get back into it. We were at like the same mission, so almost the same point, but he
Oh,
had
okay.
different stuff because
Yeah.
you can dick around and do whatever you want.
Yeah. So playing your character is basically his, except for he has to dress him up and.
Yeah, and like his clothes and stuff. But like my guy had his hair shaved like a gentleman. Like he had it styled. He had his beard shaved, and Brandon was like growing his out like a creep with like just the mustache shaved and the chin shaved. So he had these weird long chops, and my guy had like stubble, right? Like he was handsome.
Wait, does your hair grow in the game?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so you have to like
shit.
grow it out. So
Like,
he has to
groom
grow
it.
out his hair again.
Okay, well, I think he'll be able to handle it.
I hope so.
At least you guys are around the same spot. That makes
Yeah.
it better.
That's what I kept saying. But also he had like this, there's one horse in the game. It's a white Arabian horse, and it's like really hard to get.
Fuck.
And I hadn't gotten it yet, so like he doesn't have that anymore. He has
But
to go
I
get it
mean,
again.
new mission. He can go get that again. Just
Yeah.
go get that real quick.
Yeah, he can, and he got it first try. So you know,
Oh, see?
suck it, right?
Yeah.
You're so good at this game. Why don't you just go get it again?
You're just like challenging him.
Exactly.
Yeah, this topic has come up between our friends a couple of times, and all the males' reactions in the story are like, what?
Did you kill her?
Yeah. And they're like, wait a minute. Like, I have to understand your save plan again. Like, we have to go over this process.
Yeah. Blaine was like, so did you hit her?
It's a terrible joke, Blaine.
I
But
know.
also kind of funny.
But also kind of funny. Because no, he did not hit me. He just looked very disappointed, and I almost cried. Because
Aw.
I was like, if the roles were reversed, I would have fucking raged.
Yep. And the guilt would have like never ended, the guilt trips.
Oh, no, it hasn't for me either,
Oh, okay.
though. Still, all the time. He's like, I don't really want to play Red Dead. And I'm like, go fuck yourself.
I don't really want to play your game.
Yeah, exactly. My brother-in-law is like, I'm going to make an executive decision and vote her out of the family. And I'm like, listen, it's fair,
Yeah.
but it's not fair. So, Stacy, I don't think you can top that one.
I seriously cannot. But my goddamn is earlier this week, I got home from work and I opened the door and the whole house smelled like cheesy vomit. Like I had a
Cheesy
party.
vomit?
Yeah, like I had a party of kids in my house who vomited in every corner. And it just hit me so hard.
That
like
is
cheesy
disgusting.
vomit.
Why?
So bad.
Why?
Because Chelsea, my dog, vomited all
Cheese?
over. No, I don't know what the fuck it was, but all over my side of the bed.
Oh, no.
On the bed.
What a bitch.
A lot. And then
Aw.
in the hallway in front of the bathroom, which listeners don't know where that is, but it's
I
in
do.
the hallway.
It's in the hallway. There's a bathroom there. It's in front of it.
And we washed our bed sheets 3 times.
No.
And they still smelled like fucking cheesy vomit.
That
We
sucks.
cleaned the carpets like 4 or 5 times and it still smells like cheesy vomit. Like, and it's been raining here, so it's hard to open the house to air it out without like it raining in your house.
Yeah.
I've been letting it rain in the house because it's so fucking bad.
Oh, no.
It's so bad. I don't know what she got into. I don't know what caused it, but holy shit, it's the worst goddamn smell I've ever smelled in my whole fucking life.
Ugh. Oh, that's awful.
It's so bad. And then it was so hard to sleep last night because we had to like literally use the carpet cleaner on our bed, like the attachment or whatever, to
Yeah.
like upholstery clean
Yeah.
mattress. I don't know. So my whole side of the bed was soaking wet and we had to lay a
Aw.
bunch of towels down on top of it. And I doused it in Lysol also. Like, is anything going to help this smell?
Yeah.
And then we had to sleep on top. Like,
Febreze it. Kill smells.
oh my God. Well, I was hoping that the Lysol would literally kill the bacteria that's causing the smell, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, and it worked. Like, the bed is nice and clean and fine or whatever. But we had to, like, piecemeal, because we're not adults, so we don't own multiple sets of, like, of bedding. Like, this is our one comforter for the summer, and
Yeah.
this is for the winter, and this is for the spring. Like, no. We have, like, one fucking comforter, and it doesn't even fit our bed. I need to go buy some goddamn sheets, right?
They're so expensive.
I know. Like, I just need to go to Bed Bath & Beyond and get a bed in a bag.
I thought you were going to say a bed and a bath.
and then go beyond. But I haven't done it yet. And I haven't done it, and I've needed to do it for years. So I'm not going to do it anytime soon.
Yeah.
But we had to, like, piecemeal our bed together. Like, I sleep with this one lap blanket, and you sleep with that lap blanket.
Oh,
And
no.
then everybody wears socks because it's cold.
Also, it's San Diego and it's raining, so nobody has warm clothes.
Yes, I know. It's awful/amazing because I love the rain.
I do too. Well, goddamn.
Yeah, damn. Okay.
Hey, so Stacey, why don't you go ahead and tell me your story?
All right, here you go. Buckle in.
I'm buckled. I'm already buckled. I wish this fucking chair came with a seatbelt. Sorry.
You have to figure that shit out someday. All right, this is another one of those stories that has literally stuck with me. Like, I think I'm going to become a detective.
Oh. I think that this is like the first qualifying steps is to have a podcast about true crime.
To become a detective?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's like, do you have a podcast about true crime? And you're like, yeah, obviously.
Check.
And then they're like, oh, come on in. Do you have a suit?
Come solve this unsolved mystery. I also like to think that I'm like really smart and that I could figure this shit out on my own, but I can't. Like I sit and I think really hard and then I'll hear something new from somebody else, like, another podcast or another article that you read.
Yeah.
And it's something so small, but you're like, oh, duh. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah,
So I'm not-
obviously.
I wouldn't be a very good detective.
I'm really good at speculating wildly and sticking to one opinion and just fucking going wholeheartedly. And people are like, no. See, this is why that's wrong. And I'm like, you don't know.
Yeah, me too. It's really hard. Like once you make your mind up, it's really hard to be open to other suggestions.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of people are in prison.
Yeah. You ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay, this is the case of Alyssa Turney
Alyssa Turney.
from Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, all right.
Okay, I'm going to start with her background. So, Alyssa was born April 3rd, 1984, to her mother, Barbara, and her biological father, Stephen.
All right.
At the age of 3, her mom decides to separate from Alyssa's biological father and begins dating and eventually marries who's going to be Alyssa's stepfather, Michael Turney.
Okay.
Okay, so both Barbara and Mike had children from previous marriages, and total, like when they got married, there was 5 kids total.
Damn, little Brady Bunch over here.
That's exactly what these articles say. Like, they basically pieced their lives together and made like this Brady Bunch family.
Oh, that's cute.
So then after a year of being married or something, they have a baby together. Mm-hmm. So now they're like binding the whole family, right? We got stepkids.
I bind you, children.
From doing harm to others. Oh, God. Okay, so now they have a great, big, happy Brady Bunch family, right?
All right.
The baby girl that's born, her name is Sarah.
Aw.
So she's Alyssa's sister. So Michael eventually adopts Alyssa as her own. I'm not sure about Alyssa's older brother. I think so. I think he adopts both.
Everybody.
Both previous kids that Barbara, her mother, had. And they called him dad, like...
Well, yeah, I mean, it was when she was 3, so she might not even remember a time before, you know?
Yeah. Well, she was probably like 4 or 5 or something, somewhere around there, right? But
Still,
you're
it's
right.
young.
She's young enough that it's not abnormal. Anyway, when Alyssa was 9 and when Sarah was 4, their mother was diagnosed with lung cancer.
Oh,
And she ends up passing away within a year of getting the diagnosis.
damn.
So now Michael is left to care for these 2 young girls on his own.
Yeah.
And his kids from the previous marriage, they were all grown and like out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alyssa's brother, so like Barbara's previous kids from the previous marriage, he was older. I think he lived with them for some time, but he was pretty much self-sufficient. And eventually, I believe he moves out. So essentially, it's this stepfather raising Alyssa and then his biological daughter, Sarah, all on his own.
Yeah. How old is Alyssa at this point?
Alyssa's 9 when her mom passes away.
Ugh,
So
that
pretty
sucks.
young.
Yeah.
That's shitty. It's so shitty. It's so fucking sad. Okay, and so when you hear about Michael and having to raise these 2 kids, you think like, oh, that's pretty awesome. Like he adopted her. That's shitty. He just went through all of this stuff. I guess like right around the time that the wife passes away, he got injured at work, so he was like out of work for a while. And,
Oh, jeez.
yeah.
It's bad
So like
circumstances.
shitty time for the Turney family.
Yeah.
But once you like hear more details about like the girls' upbringing and shit, he's really not that great of a person.
All right. I'm ready.
So their home life, there was often tension in the house, and most of that tension stemmed from Michael's obsession with Alyssa. Yeah.
What
Like
kind of obsession?
like obsession?
Like a sexy obsession?
Like all of it. So he would often say like that Alyssa looked so much like her mother. And Sarah would always get jealous. Like, you give her so much more attention than you give me. Like, you love her more. You must love her more, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there was, like, some, you know, sibling jealousy or rivalry or whatever, which is totally normal. But as a father, you would end that, right? You would be like, no, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Like, stop it. I love you both equally. But he was just fucking weird about it all. And I'm going to tell you how.
Okay.
So, to give you a little bit about who Alyssa was as a person, she was really fun, loving, caring person. She could make anything funny. She could make a joke out of anything. Mm-hmm. Her friends explain her as having like a lot of energy, so much so that initially it's kind of like off-putting when you first meet her if you're not used to it. Like, you know, she's a strong personality.
Yeah.
But then once you like get used to that, she was just like amazing, like an amazing person, amazing friend, very confident, you know, that kind of person.
Yeah.
So by the time that she was 17, like any other typical teenager, she would drink and go to parties and smoke pot and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But nothing like she's a rotten kid or a bad apple or anything like that.
Yeah, she's just going through teenage life.
Exactly. Like any teenager would
We
do.
all did it.
But Michael, her stepfather, looked at this behavior and like considered it unruly. Like Alyssa is out of hand. She's putting herself in harm's way. She needs someone to protect her. She needs somebody to tell her what to do and how to live her life.
Oh, Jesus.
She can't be doing this on her own, right? Because she's not doing a good job. And she puts herself in like sketchy situations, like super overboard protective of her.
Yeah.
So he would monitor her phone calls.
Oh.
And the way he would do this is they had a phone tap on their house phone. And it was just like a common thing. Like he's been tapping the phone line since the 70s and had tape recordings of every fucking phone conversation that happened in his house
That's weird.
since the 70s. And I'm talking like calls to Blockbuster to like see if they have a movie, like pizza delivery calls, you know?
Did he have them like VHS or whatever, like cataloged?
Yes, there were like Rubbermaid bins full of all this shit.
Why?
Because he's fucking crazy.
All right.
I'll tell you more.
Please do.
I will. So he would also drive to her work to make sure that she was actually at work when she said she was, because he didn't believe her.
Okay.
And it's not that she ever gave him really a reason to do so. He was just like so obsessed with controlling her and knowing where she was at all times and making sure that she knew that he was watching her,
Ugh.
that he would go do this. Yeah.
That's scary.
It's fucking creepy. He wouldn't allow her to like attend school functions like dances or anything like that. He would also orchestrate arguments between her and her boyfriends because he didn't want her. Yeah, he didn't want her getting close to anyone in her life.
Yeah.
Like, he wanted to be the primary person in her life.
Okay.
So whenever he saw her getting close to friends or to boyfriends or whatever, he would prohibit it or orchestrate arguments.
How
so
does
that
one
they would
orchestrate
break
an
up.
argument?
So what he did for this one particular story with the boyfriend, it was a serious boyfriend that she was involved with. And he called the boyfriend and told him that Alyssa had been cheating on him with another boy and that she's going to break up with you and all this shit. And so he...
I feel like if my boyfriend in high school got a call from my dad saying that, he'd be like, yeah, okay. Like, you just
Yeah.
don't want me to be with your daughter. Like, I'd see
Yeah.
through that. He'd see through
Yeah.
that. Anyone would see through that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly like the full details or like why he believed him or anything. I do
Yeah.
know that from what everyone's said about Michael, he is super manipulative and very confident in what he says, so it comes off as believable.
Ugh,
Yeah.
what a creep. All right.
But a lot of people are also like, oh, but he's fucking crazy. Like, if you have a long enough conversation with him, or I would, well, I don't know if the boyfriend came around the family or anything.
Yeah.
But if you spent any time with him, you would know, like, okay,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
I can't trust him at his word. So he calls and tells the boyfriend, whatever, she's cheating on you. And then the boyfriend comes over and they get into an argument. And I don't know that they actually break up because they end up getting back together if they do. But it was a big enough argument where Alyssa came back in and she was crying after he like drove away,
Oh, jeez.
It was like super dramatic, right? Mm-hmm. Alyssa would often complain to her friends and family members that Michael had too tight of a rein on her life. And when she would complain about it, people would often brush it off, kind of like, oh, he's just trying to protect you, you'll understand someday, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Not to say her friends would say that, but like there's an account of a family member, her saying to a family member, kind of complaining like, oh, he won't let me go to this dance and I really want to go with this guy and he doesn't understand or whatever. And the family member saying, well, it's probably in your best interest, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
she says things like, well, you don't know him like I know him. But
Alyssa said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But she wouldn't say anything else, right? So it sounds like,
Ominous.
yeah, if you heard that, you would kind of be like, well, what does that mean?
Especially to a family member, because, like, yeah, I should, though.
Yeah, like that's my uncle or whoever,
Yeah, I should know him like you know him. Do you know him differently than you should?
Yeah, but it's also not something that would flag you enough to question right away, right? If you don't suspect anything is weird, if you don't
Yeah.
know that he's like obsessed, because this is obviously all coming out after the fact.
Yeah, yeah.
Friends of hers knew more intimately about the details because they were around, but
Yeah.
I don't
Well, and,
know.
like, you complain to your friends more than you do.
Exactly. But looking back on what I'm about to share with you, it's fucking creepy that she's like, well, because she's obviously hiding something.
Yeah.
So there's actually several accounts where Alyssa kind of confides in others that Michael had been sexually assaulting her.
Ugh.
Yeah.
No.
At a young age, there's medical records of her mom taking her to the doctors to be checked for like sexual assault.
Oh.
So there was something going on even that young
So
of
the
an
mom
age.
had suspicions.
Yeah, and
knew.
CPS was like heavily involved in this girl's childhood. Like it was a common theme that the threat of CPS was coming.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's not good.
No.
And then they don't, like, the mom dies and everyone's like, yeah, the dad's fine now.
Yeah, so I guess
Let's not look into that any further.
there's an interview with the aunt. So her mom's sister, and her mom's sister said that her mom had confided in her that she was planning on leaving Michael before she had been diagnosed with lung cancer, and she was trying to get herself stable enough to be able to leave and afford financially to take care of her kids.
Oh, God.
And then she got diagnosed with lung cancer, and she was like, okay, I'm just going to get through this, and then I'm going to leave. But she wasn't planning on dying.
Well, nobody's planning on dying,
Yeah.
but that sucks. Then you leave your daughter with...
Fucking creep, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe she didn't know, like, the extent, but you have to know something if you're taking your kid to get checked for sexual assault.
Yeah.
But you can't really, like, I have no idea what she was going through. I have no idea what the scenario was. This is all in hindsight, right?
Yeah, of course.
Also, the aunt says that she suspects that Michael Turney killed the mom. Like, she had lung cancer, that's true and everything, but she thinks that he gave her a lethal dose of morphine.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. But another thing is that she passed away. The mom passes away a day before her life insurance runs out. And it's all recorded. Like, it's a fact. It's not like, how convenient, you know? That's shady shit, right?
That's real shady.
I don't know how sick she was or anything like that, you know?
Yeah.
But still, it's...
Why would your life insurance run out if you're, like, if you have lung cancer?
Because you have to keep paying for it? So
yeah,
maybe...
I know, but, like, why wouldn't you continue paying for it?
I don't know. I think that they were kind of hard off on money.
Oh.
But it's pretty convenient that she passes away a day before her insurance policy runs up. And then also, he's, like, known to sue people for anything and everything. Like, the littlest shit. Ugh. Suing for workman's comp for this, you know, literally anything. The littlest things. He always had, like, a lawsuit going on.
Oh, what a pleasant guy.
Yeah, he sounds fun.
Yeah.
So when Alyssa was 9, shortly after her mom had passed away, Michael started dating one of her teachers.
Okay.
And Alyssa confides in her teacher, saying that she had sex with her dad.
Ew.
Gross, right?
And the teacher got jealous?
Well, ew. No, not exactly. Her dad kind of like makes fun of it or plays it off by saying, Alyssa, kissing a boy isn't having sex. That's all he says. He doesn't say, like, with me or with anyone or anything like that. That's how he brushes it off, and the teacher never ends up reporting it. But she fucking confided in an adult. Like, this is happening.
What kind of kissing is going on
I don't
that
know.
could be, like, explained away?
How fucking awkward of a conversation.
Yeah. Also, no. Nope.
Yeah, it's not cool.
I don't want to think about it.
Nope. Okay, so on one account, which the story's corroborated between a couple of different people who have either heard the story or were around when it happened. Like, it's a known fact that this thing occurred. Mm-hmm. Michael goes to Alyssa's school to pick her up early, and he takes her out to the desert, which is Arizona, so I'm not sure how far you have to go to get to, quote-unquote, the desert.
Down the street.
Like, you turn left.
Side of the road.
Instead of right into the neighborhood.
Here we are.
And he attempts to fool around with her.
Ew.
Yeah, and she starts to fight back too much, and so he stops.
Too much?
Too much. Like, she gets too rough, because she's like, don't fucking touch me, right? And so he stops, and, like, people know about this, and no one ever reported it.
What the fuck?
Right?
Why would no one report that?
I don't know, but it's about to get weird.
Also, how do people know about this? Was he like, I tried to fuck her, but she was like, nah, so, you know, that's
I
how
think
I got
she
these scratches.
confided in them, but she said, like, don't tell anyone. And so people didn't
Which
say
every
anything.
teenage girl is going to say.
Yeah,
And you
but
know what
there's
you're supposed to do? Go tell someone.
Yeah, certain things you gotta tell. But also, like, one of the people she told that particular story to was her brother. So maybe her brother had, like, a vested interest, too. Like, well, he was probably being manipulated by the father as well.
Yeah.
Like, the father was, like, emotionally abusive, too.
Yeah. Well, a brother's too close to the situation.
Yeah. But, like, Michael Turney would be like, Alyssa, you are stupid. Like, there's audio and, like, family videotapes. And he's, like, calling her an idiot. There's phone conversations where he's talking to, like, other relatives saying how unruly and crazy she is and calling her a stupid bitch.
Jesus.
She's going to get him in trouble with CPS again because she's running her mouth. And, like, he's not nice to her.
God.
And then, like, he would say to her, like, don't say anything or CPS is going to come and going to separate you and your sister. Like, he would.
That card.
Yeah, like some fucking twisted leverage shit.
Yeah.
So there's another incident where Alyssa's cousin was staying with a family, and he gets home from work late one night, and he pops in a VHS tape to, like, watch a movie, and it's called Dr. Dolittle. But when it starts...
Good movie. Great choice.
Yeah, great choice. But when it starts out, it's obvious that this isn't Dr. Dolittle, and instead it's a homemade video. Mm-hmm. And on the video, you see Alyssa laying on the couch without a shirt on, and there's newspaper over her face in, like, an attempt to cover her identity.
Oh, God.
And that's it. There's nothing. Like, it's clear that somebody is manually holding the camera. It's not, like, on a tripod or anything. And it's not clear if she's drugged and laying there or if she's, like, participating, quote-unquote, willingly or if she's alert or what. But it's just that. And then after a few minutes, it cuts to another girl laying on the couch in the similar manner.
Oh, my God.
And it's her friend. But no one has come forward and said, like, oh, that was me on the tape. this is what happened or anything like that. So no one fucking knows what was going on.
That's so awkward.
It was in Alyssa's house, and the cousin was like, there's no doubt it was him. Like, he was recording this.
Oh, no.
And he was crushed because this is his uncle who he loved. Like, he said he was the coolest uncle growing up. He was so much fun, like, was really close and dear to his heart, really loved this uncle. And when he watched this videotape that night, he grabbed his shit and he left, and he was disgusted. And then he didn't say anything to his uncle. He came back like a couple weeks later to get the rest of his shit and give him his key back. And he didn't say anything. He was just like, I'm out of here.
Why wouldn't you take Alyssa with you?
Right. And he never reported it. And he said that's one of his biggest regrets.
Well,
it's like he didn't take the
fucking
tape and he didn't report it.
hindsight.
Right.
Also, who's like, I'll just label this one Dr. Doolittle.
Fucking
No one will
weird.
watch that.
Well, if you think about it.
Ew, nope.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, that's awful.
Yep. So a lot of Alyssa's friends have come out and said, like, no, Michael was creepy. He was inappropriate to me. He tried to make sexual advances or was just not appropriate for an adult to a child relationship.
Yeah.
So it was just like a common thing. Like, none of her friends ever wanted to go over to her house. In fact, Alyssa always went to other people's homes.
God.
Yeah. So obviously she doesn't have the best home life.
Yeah, apparently.
And her father's holding her back from a lot in life by not letting her go do typical teenage shit. So she threatens to move to California, where her biological aunt lives. And so they call the aunt and they say, hey, can Alyssa move to California? And she's like, sure, come on down. And then a couple days or weeks later, Michael Turney calls back to the aunt and says, you know what, never mind, it's not going to work out. Like, Alyssa's not going to come live with you. But she never hears that from Alyssa. She hears that from Michael Turney. And she's like, okay, and like lets it go. She doesn't question or prod or push further.
Yeah.
So here's to the nitty gritty.
All right.
May 17th, 2001. So when Alyssa was 17 years old, it was the last day of junior year for her. And between the hours of like 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., Alyssa's stepfather picks her up from school early on her last day of school, which is interesting to note that it was a half day anyway. But he came and got her early to go grab lunch with her, is what he says. As she's walking to the office to go get in her dad's car or whatever to leave school, she stops into her boyfriend's woodshop class.
Yeah.
And she says bye. And he says, like, she looked totally normal, happy, whatever, and was just like, oh, my dad came and got me early. I'll see you later tonight, because there's a party going on that she was going to go.
Round here. Damn it.
Okay, so there's a party going on, and she's planning on attending, right? So she's like, I'll see you later. Sayonara, sucker. Michael Turney then claims that they stopped somewhere to get lunch, and they head home, and while they're at home, they get into an argument about Alyssa's plans for the summer. Like, she says, I want a longer curfew. I want to be able to stay out and go to parties or whatever. And he's like, absolutely not. You don't get to do any of that shit. And so she gets pissed off and like storms into her room and slams the door.
Yeah.
And he says the last thing he sees of Alyssa is her hair flipping behind her as she storms down the hallway into her room. And he's like, wow, she's pissed off. I'm going to let her cool off and go run around and go do some errands or whatever I got to do.
Sure.
Okay, so he does that.
Allegedly.
A huge allegedly. Sarah, Alyssa's younger sister, was her last day at school also. And they had been at a water park for the last day of school. Kind of like a field trip, which is fucking awesome. What a good idea.
Yeah.
And she was dropped off at the school by the buses around 3:30ish.
Yeah.
And she waits for her father forever, and he never shows up. Like, everybody leaves, and she's the last one standing there. And so she walks to her friend's house. But I guess this was a common occurrence where he just wouldn't pick her up, and so she would go to this friend's house. And without even calling each other or anything, he knew to go there to pick her up when he was ready to pick her up.
Jesus.
Father of the fucking year award, right?
Yeah. Talk about being the lesser loved child.
Right? Well, here's what I find so weird. Like, he's all up Alyssa's ass and needs to know where she is every second of the day. Yet he lets his, like, biological younger daughter, who, on all accounts, she claims, like, she got away with all the shit, the same shit that Alyssa was doing. She did, and he was, like, fine with. He would buy her and her friends beer.
Really?
Yeah. It was weird. Like, he was literally obsessed with Alyssa.
Ugh, that's so creepy.
It's so creepy.
Couldn't touch his biological daughter because that would be weird.
Yeah, right? Well, that's what is like the speculation. Like, the biological factor is why she didn't get touched, because she was never molested or anything. And she had always known her dad as, like, the cool dad. Like, so Michael arrives to pick up Sarah from her friend's house around dusk, which I guess was, like, between 6 or 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And when Sarah gets in the car, Michael tells her immediately, like, you need to call your sister. She's not picking up her phone. And so, like, call her cell phone and hands Sarah his cell phone. So she tries to call, and obviously Alyssa doesn't answer. And they get home, and Michael tells Sarah to go into Alyssa's room and go look for her. Mm-hmm. And so when she opens the door into the room, she finds Alyssa's cell phone sitting on the dresser, and it's like vibrating from them trying to call, obviously.
Yeah.
And next to it, there is a note. And the note reads, Dad and Sarah, when you dropped me off at school today, I decided I really am going to California. Sarah, you said you didn't want me around. Look, you got it. I'm gone. That's why I saved my money. Dad, I took $300 from you. Alyssa.
I'm sorry.
Right? It's a weird note.
That's
it's
why
okay
I saved
to
my
laugh.
money, but also I
took
yours.
$300. It's fucking weird, right? I feel like your laughter is very appropriate for this note. But I've seen pictures of this note, and it's Alyssa's handwriting. It's
Uh-oh.
not like,
She could have written it under duress.
yep, that's kind of like some of the theories. But anyway,
Which
so,
I'm okay. If I was ever kidnapped and they were like, write this note that says that you're okay, I'd be like, nah.
yeah. But Michael was known to have Alyssa sign contracts and shit. Like, it was later found that there were contracts saying, like, typical shit, like, I won't stay out past 2 a.m. or whatever, but also saying, like, I, Alyssa, swear that my father never sexually molested me. And it was a
Ew.
contract that she had signed. So he obviously had some sort of leverage on her. Maybe not leverage, but like would force her to sign
Well,
this shit.
it's not leverage, but he probably told her it was leverage.
Made it sound like leverage.
Yeah.
It was like an emotional leverage.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
yeah.
So I don't think it's that far fetched that he would make her write a note or something.
That's so weird.
Or even if the note was already, because it's kind of odd, right? Like, it's like, you wanted me gone, I'm moving to California, and then that's why I saved my money. Dad, I took $300. Like, it's so choppy that maybe part of the note had been written before, like she was truly going to run away or something.
Yeah.
And he found it and then forced her to finish writing it or something.
But
And, like, told her what to write.
that's so, like, ominous. If my dad was like, now say, Dad, I took $300, I'd be like, why? Are
Yeah.
you giving me $300?
I don't know.
Because then I'll just tell my sister that you gave me $300 because you love me more.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. It's part of the...
but I'm real paranoid now after doing this podcast, so
Yeah, but were you when you were, 17?
I don't think so.
Living
That's
under
what
your
I'm
dad's
just thinking.
roof.
Yeah.
Or maybe he says, like, okay, you can go to California, but you have to write this note first so that everyone thinks that it's a runaway. And you're like, I don't fucking care here,
Yeah, whatever. I'm out.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's probably a valid situation.
Yeah. Also, another thing to note, in her room, the contents of her backpack were, like, dumped all over the room, but the backpack was gone. And it's not clear if any clothes or belongings or anything else were missing.
All right.
So Michael calls the police and says, hey, my daughter ran away. I know where she ran away to. She went to California to go live with her aunt. And so they don't treat it like a missing persons case. They treat it like a runaway case, right?
Yeah.
They're not that concerned.
Yeah.
But Alyssa never shows up in California, and no money is ever withdrawn from her bank account, and she never calls any of her friends or family. Her Social Security card is never used anywhere. She never gets a
Social
job.
Security? Oh, okay.
A Social Security number.
Okay. I was
Yeah,
like,
like she never applies for a job anywhere.
okay.
So it's clear that she didn't run away.
Yeah, she's not around.
So Michael claims, this is some weird, interesting little fact. He claims that Alyssa did call a week after she ran away.
Of course he claims that.
Yeah, right? And he picks up the phone and it's her just cussing and she sounds like her voice is muffled or whatever. And for some fucking reason, the call lasts like 29 seconds. For some,
Is it recorded?
it's not. He turned his fucking tap off for recording.
Why would you turn your tap off when your daughter runs away?
Exactly. And you recorded every fucking phone conversation since the 70s, and on this one goddamn day, you decided not to record it. Mm-hmm. Like,
I'm
what
sure
the
this
fuck?
happened.
That's shady, right?
Yeah, because it
And
didn't happen.
It didn't happen. So the story goes that this phone call came in, and then he, for some unknown reason, knew that the call was coming from a payphone, so he jumps in his car and drives to all the payphones around the house to look for her. And then when he gets back to the house, he's like, oh, I'll star 69 the call to get the number. But somebody else had called in already, and so he couldn't get the number. That's his fucking story. I don't believe it. How the fuck would you know it's a phone call from a payphone?
Yeah.
And what makes you think, like, oh, let me just search all the local payphones? Like, that's even more
Yeah,
retarded.
she's been gone for a week. She probably made it down the block.
Yeah.
Like, you don't think she went a little farther?
Right? So Michael sues AT&T for the phone records.
You can't just request those.
Oh, okay. So I guess he did try to request them, but they said no. Like, we're not giving you the phone records for whatever fucking reason.
That's stupid. You would think that'd be like your fucking
A
property.
super easy thing to do, right?
Yeah.
So he ends up suing them, and then out of the lawsuit, he gets the records. And supposedly this call was made from a payphone in Riverside, California, and it was 29 seconds long. Now, this is what I've read and what I've heard through like other podcasts, that this is what happened.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's like actual evidence, because the dude lies about everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's actual evidence, like here is the record from that phone call.
Yeah. Well,
So I don't know if you just assume that this phone call actually happened. And if so, it's kind of weird that it's coming from like Riverside, California.
I mean, there would either be a record or not a record, though. Like, that's.
Yeah, and everything I've heard or read said that's what happened, but it just skeeves me out that it's coming from his account, you know? Like, I don't know if there's police documents
Yeah.
corroborating that at all. I don't
Yeah.
know. What's interesting, though, is up to like a year after her disappearance, I guess her dad, Michael Turney, was going to California every weekend to go look for her and go put up posters and go tell people that she's missing. So he could know somebody in Riverside, California, or could have paid somebody to be like, hey, call this number at this time.
Yeah.
Or could have even known somebody and gotten that phone call from them, and knowing where they're at, staged this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is convenient that this person called me because I'm going to put it as this narrative.
Okay.
So there is a way to explain it, other
Yeah.
than it being Alyssa calling her fucking molesting stepfather to cuss him out. Like, why wouldn't you call your boyfriend or your best
Yeah.
friend or your brother
Or your sister or
Yeah.
any of the people that you left behind.
Yeah, you would call someone else. Anyway, so there was never a formal search by law for her because they believed she was a runaway. And years go by with nothing new on the case. Nothing's happening. No one's looking for her. She's just missing. And
Yeah.
all of her siblings, like Sarah, thinks that she ran away and that she's happy wherever she's at, and she's choosing not to talk to the family.
What?
Yeah. But the reason
That's
is
some deep manipulation.
Sarah doesn't know the whole story. Like, Sarah doesn't know that her sister's being molested, and Sarah doesn't know that her dad picked her up early from school. No one in the family knew that Michael picked Alyssa up early from school that day. He
How
withheld
did
that.
nobody know that, though?
He withheld that. I
yeah,
don't.
but the boyfriend could have been like, no.
I
When
don't
they
know.
were like, she ran away.
Maybe the boyfriend and the family didn't talk. You know, like high school boyfriend, you're not bringing them around for dinner every night or anything. It's like, bye, we're going to the movies. You
I
know.
had a very wholesome family.
No, you weren't. Get out of here with that.
He was forced to come to dinner a couple of times,
And he enjoyed every second of it.
I'm sure.
Okay, so in 2006, something interesting happens. An inmate in Florida confesses to killing Alyssa.
What?
Yes.
In Florida?
In Florida.
Florida
So-
man.
Yeah. So the FBI get involved, and the Phoenix police start digging into her case a little more and start looking at it more as like possible homicide or something, because they want to prove that this inmate is lying. Because he says, oh, I killed like 30 other people. And in that list of people, he also included JC Dugard,
Oh.
saying like, oh, I killed her. So he was just like picking missing people and saying I killed them, because
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
he didn't kill her. But
And they're like, stop bragging, you weirdo.
yeah, like, you know how inmates will confess so that they can get like a day in court or whatever, or how
Yeah.
they'll testify against.
I'll show you where the body is.
Yeah, exactly. Just go right
Take a
around
trip
the
up
park.
Route 66 or whatever.
Exactly. So they're like, for sure, this is what this guy's doing. So in order to disprove that, we have to prove that Alyssa's not dead or anything shady happened,
Oh,
right?
good. So fucking,
Yeah, so
they're
they-
finally going to look into this.
So they start investigating,
Uh-huh.
and they start interviewing friends and family, and they learn about the sexual assault because
Mm-hmm.
they didn't look into any of this before. And they start hearing all this shady shit about Michael Turney, and they hear about those videos and the attack in the desert, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so they get a search warrant for Michael's house to obtain any kind of physical evidence in relation to this missing persons case. So when they get inside, they find that he has full surveillance around the house, like cameras,
Yeah.
along with a phone tap and all the records. They discover he had a camera hidden in the living room vent that was just like recording Alyssa.
What?
And
Well, I mean,
obviously the
everybody.
family, but like he saved recordings of Alyssa.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's fucking creepy.
And the recordings that he saved were of Alyssa on the couch with her boyfriend, like, making out and shit.
Ew.
And he also saved that argument that he orchestrated.
Oh.
He saved that video of them, like, yelling at each other in the living room, and then you can see them go outside where he's, like, walking to his car and they're still yelling. Alyssa gets pissed and throws her phone at the side of the house, and then he peels away in his truck, squealing his tires. Like, all of that's caught on video.
Yeah.
So when they try to find the recordings of May 17th, the day she goes missing,
There conveniently are none.
there are none. He says, Michael says, there was nothing useful there, so I recorded over them. Or he had gotten rid of them or something.
What does useful mean?
Fucking anything would be useful for
Like
a day somebody went missing. Like, I want to see her leaving the house. What time did she leave? What was she wearing?
Yeah.
You know, like, you said you guys came back and you got into an argument. I want to see that.
Yeah.
Anything. He tries to twist it, though, like, there was nothing from that day, but look at all this video footage of her boyfriend yelling at her, and look how aggressive it is, and,
Oh
like,
my God.
you know, he's probably the one that's in on this.
Yeah.
Even though this whole time Michael Turney never once said, you know, why isn't anyone looking into my daughter's case? What the fuck is going on? Like,
Yeah,
I haven't heard from her.
Yeah.
He just lets it go. Like, oh, no, I know exactly where she's at. She ran away to California. Nothing to worry about here. So they're like, this Florida inmate dude didn't do it. But for sure, we're looking at Michael Turney now because he's shady as fuck.
Yeah.
They also uncover in Michael's house a shit ton of weapons.
Oh?
And they weren't, like, registered.
Like guns?
Yeah.
Or like ninja stars?
Well, guns and homemade silencers.
Oh.
And 26 homemade pipe bombs.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What is he going to do with those?
I'll tell you. In a safe, he had a manifesto
Oh, good.
for an attack that he was going to carry out on a local electric union, which he had once been a part of. Or maybe not a part of, but he worked at the company, and I think that he thought that they were out against him because he wouldn't join the union, or he had been a whistleblower against the union or something. So, like, this happened in, like, the 70s or some shit. But he's like, no, they're responsible for killing Alyssa.
Oh, so now he's concerned that she's dead.
Yep.
It's no longer a runaway.
Now that the police are looking at this,
Now it's someone
I'm
else's fault.
concerned. Yeah.
If it's not her boyfriend, it's someone else.
Exactly. He had this manifesto typed up and everything before the police started investigating. So I guess this is just his next plan of attack. It's like,
You know how you know if someone's like a good person or not is like, well, I guess a bad person is if they have a manifesto.
yeah, that's true.
No good
Or
people
if
have
they're
manifestos.
making fucking 26 pipe bombs in their house. Like,
That too.
that's a lot of pipe bombs.
But like, even if you don't see the pipe bombs, if you just see someone's manifesto on their coffee table and you're
Yeah.
like, "What is that?" and they're like, "Oh, that's my manifesto."
Get
oh,
out of
okay.
here. Yeah, I'm out of here.
Okay, I have to go.
I left my stove on.
I have to wash my hair ASAP.
I think the dryer is running. Oh my God. You're right, though.
Nobody writes manifestos.
They don't.
I mean, no sane person.
No, but this guy did, and he's not sane. In the manifesto, he also says that he thinks that the Union killed Alyssa and then took her out to Desert Center, California, where they buried the body.
Oh, wait. Okay, so he wrote this manifesto after Alyssa went quote unquote missing.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's saying where he thinks that they dumped
the
the body.
body.
Okay,
Yep.
uh-huh.
Yep.
I'll bet they're gonna find a body there.
Even though this whole time he's never once told the police that he was concerned about.
Any of this?
Yep, but this is what he's saying. And so his plan is to attack the Union with all these pipe bombs. He had literally, it was like a checklist, like step 1, light car on fire or whatever. And he had this van with like this, it was filled with flammable material like propane and gasoline. And in the.
Did he have the van ready? Like
Yeah.
with those things?
Yeah, because this shit, in his manifesto, he had a fucking calendar and it was like highlighted on the day that he was going to do this shit. And it was a Christmas party for the Union.
Oh my
and it
God.
was less than a week away than when they raided this place.
Wow, good thing they fucking
What
found
the
this shit.
fuck, right? But also, what I was going to say, the van that he had like all loaded up, that he had chlorine sticks in the tire wells.
The hell?
And they think that he was just trying to load it to make it super flammable and make chlorine gas, like gas the place out when
Oh
he
my God.
catches the car on fire. And literally on the floorboard of this van, he had a brick to like put on the gas pedal to make it drive into the building. And then in his manifesto, like step 2 is shoot 100 rounds at anybody who comes out or whatever.
Okay.
So he's fucking
Not
crazy.
99, not 101.
100 bullets. Yeah. So he was this was like a mass attack that was about to happen, and they prevented it.
Which is good.
Yeah, so he gets brought to trial for that, and obviously he's guilty, and he gets the maximum of only 10 years in prison.
That's okay. They just stopped like a fucking terrorist attack, essentially.
So he got released last year, like probably a year ago now.
Wait, he got released?
He got
Tell the
released-
rest of the story about Alyssa.
I will. Okay, so he gets 10 years in prison, but there's no charges brought against him for Alyssa. And while he's in prison, ABC's 2020 does an episode on Alyssa's case. And in it, Michael's son and Sarah defend Michael, saying, like, he's a great dad. He doesn't
my
have
God.
anything to do with her disappearance. Well, after it aired, the family learned all the shit that they had known about because 2020, like, obtained all the court records and, like,
Yeah.
talked to families and talked to Michael himself. And this is where they all learned that he had picked her up early from school. He had been telling the family that, like, the police aren't doing anything about this, so I have to go out there and I have to get her name out there. I'm her number one champion. I'm the only one who's going to find her because these police aren't doing anything about it. Well, come to find out, he wasn't cooperating with police. Like, he wasn't agreeing to do interviews or anything. He wasn't going to them and saying anything was amiss. You know, like, you know, she didn't run away. Something bad happened. And when they did come to interview him, he didn't comply. He wouldn't give them the tapes that they needed, you know, of that day. And he denied everything. And said,
Jesus.
yeah, and would, like, place the blame or try to redirect to someone else, you know? And then when the family sees this on 2020, they're like, oh, shit.
Oh, wait, he's shady as fuck.
Yep. Oh, another thing, the sister never knew anything about the molestations. Like, she was so much younger that, you know, how I said the brother knew about the attack in the desert and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But no one ever told the younger sister.
I assume that's probably something you'd want to keep from a younger person.
Uh-huh.
But also, it would be something that I would want to, like, tell authorities and then be like, why is Daddy in jail? And be like, oh, he did something else.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't sweep it under the rug, but also I understand not telling her.
Yeah, to, like, protect her from that.
Yeah.
So after she finds all this stuff out, she starts, like, thinking about her childhood and stuff, and things start jumping out to her, like how he was overly obsessed with Alyssa and how he would always say, you look like your mom, you know, like,
Oh,
just kind
God.
of weird shit started popping out
Yeah.
in her mind. And then she was going through, like, family videos and stuff, just trying to find a clue or anything. And she found this one video of Sarah's holding the camera, and she's really little and, like, recording. And Michael's telling her to turn the camera off. And she's like, I don't want to, and, like, giggling. And he's going, come on, turn the camera off. And then he grabs the camera and he's like, oh, and you're still recording. And then it's kind of in the woods somewhere or something. Like maybe they're camping. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then off in the distance, you see Alyssa and you hear her say, Sarah, Dad's a pervert. Like out of nowhere. And then that's when Michael goes, Alyssa is a stupid idiot. And then just like taunts her. And he's recording her and taunting her. And this is
Jesus.
like saved as like a family video.
Wholesome memories.
Yeah. So anyway, so all this shit started popping up. So then Sarah and literally the rest of the family start to realize that like Michael probably killed her. Because like I said, like none of her information has ever been used. She had money in her bank account and not a dime has been withdrawn.
Yeah.
Like all things point to he killed her or he was involved in some way.
He knows something. Yeah.
So Sarah thinks that Alyssa was threatening to expose his sexual assault or to move to California where she would eventually tell her aunt or something where he wouldn't have control, right?
Yeah.
Because now she'd be out of the house and he would be prosecuted as being a pedophile. So he panicked and had to get rid of her.
His control's running out.
Yeah, like if I don't do something about it, she's going to tell someone and I'm going to get in trouble. So the note says, like, remember her runaway note? It says, when you dropped me off at school today, I decided I really am going to California. And Sarah points out, why would you start the note out like that? If your claim is that you guys came home and you had this argument, why wouldn't you say, Dad, after our argument, I really decided I'm moving to California?
Yeah.
Or like, after you dropped me off from school this morning, I decided that, like, why would you then get in the car with your dad to go get lunch if you're planning on running away? Why would you even go to school that day? You could pretend and then you would go run away, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't actually go to your classes.
Yeah,
Not gonna matter.
exactly.
The last day too. You don't do anything.
Yeah, right. Get the fuck out of there. Or why would you tell all your friends that you're going to go to this party and shit if you're planning on running away that night and not being there?
Yeah.
Also, why would you get in an argument to your dad about your curfew if you're planning on not being there anymore?
Yeah.
Like, if
yeah.
he picked you up and you had to go get lunch or whatever, why would you even start that argument if you're like, fuck it, I'm running away anyway?
Yeah, he's like, be home by 10. And you'd be like, well, okay.
Yeah, later. So Sarah thinks that Michael staged all of this to look like a runaway.
Yeah.
And
So does the rest of the world, Sarah. You're
Yeah.
on to something.
exactly. So she says, like, maybe he was attempting to molest her again or something, and she fought back, and then he just, like, took her straight to the desert and offed her, or anywhere. She was also saying that there was a lot of desert area, whatever, that they used to go ride their go-karts in, and they were turning it into a shopping mall or something like that. So they were doing construction, and so there were really deep holes that they dug.
Oh, geez.
So she's speculating, like, what if he threw her body there and then they poured cement on it? Because I guess they do this, like, ground penetrating, whatever,
Yeah,
mapping to see that nothing's under there. And then they dig the holes and then they pour the cement. But after they dig the holes, they wouldn't check again to see if anything's there. So he could have, like, thrown her in there and thrown some dirt on top of it.
Yeah, there was a serial killer that did that. It was like a boneyard, basically, under this
really?
apartment building. Hmm.
Oh, God, that's creepy.
Yeah, there's,
How
like-
did they find it?
I don't remember. I know a lady walking her dog. Her dog came back with like a fucking femur or something.
Oh, shit,
and
that's
then they
wild.
were like, "That's interesting."
So one of them bubbled up, huh?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, God, that's creepy.
Yep, it was
So I
weird.
guess it's not that far-fetched. When I heard that, I was like, okay, that's a little...
Oh no, it's been done.
Oh, God. Anyway.
Also, if anyone watches Bones, it happens on there quite often.
Which, as we all know, is a very accurate depiction of real life.
True to life. Actually, it is based on a real lady.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that. Also, another thing that's interesting to speculate about this whole case is that he claims, like, oh, they put her body in Desert Center, California.
Yeah.
Well, he picks her up between, like, 11 and 12 from school, somewhere around there, and then he picks up Sarah from... I don't know, 6 or 7. So there's like 6-ish hours of time that he's gone and not accounted for.
Yeah.
And that's enough time from Phoenix to Desert Center, California to drive and drop off a body and then drive back.
Yeah. Has anyone checked out Desert Center, California?
No one has looked for a body.
What?
No one. No one has looked anywhere for a body. No investigators have.
Why wouldn't someone check there? If that's where he's saying that the union or whatever he
Just
thinks
go
dumped
poke
her
around.
body. Yeah, like that's where her body is.
Because it's like 2018 and this happened in 2001. I don't know. But now you know why I was looking in the desert for bodies on Google Earth.
Oh my god. You were. You're
Yeah.
so creepy.
I know. I mean, not that you would see a body, but I was thinking maybe you could see, like, the dirt disturbed, obviously. Like, there's a bunch of
Yeah.
rocks here, then there's this weird plot. And it's like a 2.5 to 3 hour trip or something like that from Desert Center to Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's plenty of time. Like,
So
if
next
you,
time we're going out to Bombay, we're going body hunting.
yeah, I
Oh,
think
we're gonna
so.
train Hank to be a cadaver dog.
Oh my God. Do you think he can find really old bones?
I don't know.
Which is kind of morbid that we're talking about a dead body. In this case, like, this is a real I know they're all real families and shit, but
Yeah,
like,
but also to find the body would be helping them. Like,
yeah, it
that's-
would. It really would.
It would
That's
put
what
some
they're
kind of-
advocating for now because they don't have enough evidence to implicate him for anything, basically. They have a lot of circumstantial evidence, but nothing to say, like, he murdered her.
So is he out?
He's out. He's out right now.
He's just walking around.
He's a free man right now. And they're building a case. So the Phoenix Police Department is trying to build a case, but they have literally everything they're going to get right now unless somebody steps forward and says, like, hey, I was on this tape and this is what I did. But that wouldn't be brought to trial for Alyssa's murder. That would be for something else, for being
Yeah.
inappropriate, being a pedophile or whatever. But they need a body. They need physical evidence that she's harmed and not alive. Okay, so...
And I guess it's been 10 years, so like luminol and stuff, you couldn't go into
well,
the
and
house
they,
to be like,
exactly, and they got a search warrant. There's some weird shit. Okay, I'm going to mention some podcasts at the end that if anybody's interested in like the nitty gritty, you have to listen to because again, I'm only brushing over it. There are so many weird things where like he had a car and then bought the exact same car and sold that car, and that could have been the original could have been the car that Alyssa was murdered in or something.
Oh my
you know?
God.
And they tracked it down, but all they got were like the family dog hairs. They didn't get any other kind of evidence, like not Alyssa's hair or anything. He had moved houses like a year after she disappeared or some shit like that. And, you know, multiple years later, like 8 years later, when they actually started investigating this, they got a search warrant for that house and started searching, but they didn't find anything. It had been so much longer.
yeah,
And, you know, if you strangle someone, there's not a lot of physical evidence unless you find the body.
yeah, that's so scary.
Yeah. Okay, so since 2014, Sarah has been on like this big mission for justice for Alyssa. Mm-hmm. She's spoken to her father a few times, and he's just basically like taunts her, you know, like, oh, look at you. Now you think you're like all high and mighty and you're going to like advocate for Alyssa and go against me, and like, I don't know, it's just weird shit. Like, he's manipulating her now.
Yeah.
But she's not falling for it. She's just like, fuck you.
That's called
And-
gaslighting.
Exactly. And she's like, tell me what happened. And he says, be here when I'm on my deathbed, and I'll tell you like the honest truth of what happened. I'll give you the answers you want. And she's like, if that's not a confession, I don't know what is. Like, because everything you just told me should be the truth, but you just admitted to that not being the truth.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's all fucking a mind fuck. And Sarah obviously wants her father prosecuted for Alyssa's death, but she's been trying really hard to get the story out into the public, which is why I'm doing the story, which is why I chose the story.
Wow.
Because somebody else who runs a Twitter account to help find Alyssa commented on one of our Twitter threads saying you should do this case.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so they actually emailed us all this information and then all the links to like the 2020 episode, and Crime Junkie did a podcast on her, and that one's really good too. And then there's a podcast called Missing Alyssa where you can get all the details. Like, the host got all of the court records and went through every single piece of evidence and talks about it and
Jeez.
helps speculate, and it is so interesting. But like I said, I tried to cram it into our format because I wanted to help get the word out also. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like Phoenix is so close, and that's our age range, and it's just wild. Like, this dude is like a 5-hour drive from us, you know?
Well,
like,
that's terrifying.
creepy, and he's not in prison or anything.
Yeah.
Sarah wants like people to go help in any way that they can, and she's been asking the police like, how can I help, what can I do? And the police are like, you're doing everything you can. The only thing you could do is get media coverage to maybe try to put some more pressure on like the bigwigs in Phoenix or whatever to like prosecute him, to put him on trial. But when she meets with the police, they're like, we don't have enough evidence. You're not going to get a conviction out of this.
Yeah.
So they're waiting for more evidence to come up or a body. So people go look for bodies in the desert.
So if anybody comes across a body, we have to recruit Dylan. He really wants to find a body. So
Okay, well, we can do this.
yeah.
That's what I was doing on Google Earth. I was like, okay, if I were to drive here and I've never been here before, where would I drive? Okay, I would follow this main road, and then as soon as I saw a turnoff where no one was around, I'd go down that one. Oh, look, there's a hill here. I could just dump the body right here,
Yeah, like
which is how I found that rock couch.
Yeah,
where
you
I was
did find a weird
asking
rock.
you, is this a dead body?
does this look like a body to you? God, it was like 11 at night, and she just sent me latitude and longitude. Did I find a body in the desert? And I was like,
I'll put the latitude and longitude on our website.
yeah,
You guys can look at that shit. It's
Yeah.
definitely not a dead body. But
It's not
I don't
a
know what
body.
the fuck it is.
it's.
You guys go look and tell me what it is.
I think it's a weird rock.
I don't think it's a rock. So one last thing, Sarah does have a petition out there to sign to demand justice for Alyssa, and her goal is to get 500,000 signatures just to show,
People care.
yeah, that it's serious and that we're not all going to just sit back and let this guy get away with this.
Yeah.
Or walk this fucking earth with us.
First of all, this is really brave of her to do against her dad, just
Right?
because.
He could like find her easily or whatever, right?
Yeah. And to just make that decision to go against him, to cut him out and be like, no, you're wrong. That's really brave. That's
And that's obviously that there's enough evidence for her to be like,
Yeah.
no.
at least for
This
her.
is
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah, he did something. And she knows him well enough to know he did something. But if everybody could take like a minute out of your day, I've signed the petition. It takes literally less than a minute. I'll put the link on our website
Yeah.
and just go on there, sign it. You can leave a little note if you want to be like, yo, convict this dude, or do just like, we care, anything. Help show your support and tell people about Alyssa's case and all the other podcasts. I'll link to the other podcasts in our like show notes and shit too. It's fucking wild that this guy is still walking around.
Yeah,
like I
that's-
said,
Honestly, it's terrifying.
I know. I just hit the like tip of the iceberg with this, but everybody, we can all, the podcast community is so fucking amazing and the listeners are so amazing that I know that we can help at least make a little bit of a difference.
Yeah.
And Google Earth that shit and find a dead body. And then send us coordinates because I will be for sure convinced it's a dead body.
Yeah, definitely send us coordinates. Stacy will look into that, and then I will let her know that it's not a dead body or not. Well, goddamn,
Yeah, isn't that messed up?
that's real messed up.
I'm literally driving to work and I'm like thinking of more things like, oh shit, what about this? What about that?
I
It's
just
so
don't
messed up.
like the idea of him being out.
Okay, let's hear it, Aaron. Give me your story.
Whoa. Hey, Stacy, you want to hear my story?
I do, Aaron.
Jackie even said it was hard to tell us apart.
I know. Well,
She's like, I don't know who said it. I can't tell you two apart. I'm like, oh, we try.
we try so hard.
This is about the lawnmower man.
What? What?
It's like Florida man.
Ooh, girl, get it.
But it's more like
Lawnmower man.
lawnmower man. And he's in Canada.
All right. Ooh, another Canadian one.
Yeah. This is Toronto's most prolific serial killer.
Whoa.
BT dubs. Well, his given name, was Thomas Donald Bruce MacArthur.
My God, that's a
I
lot
know.
of names.
They're all fucking first names, except
Yeah.
for the last one. Goddamn, 3 first name having man. That's what it should have been called. He went by Bruce.
Don't bring me down, Bruce.
I was like, ooh, is she gonna get there?
Oh, I thought you were gonna nail it, and then when you didn't, I did it.
Oh, nope. Sorry. Wasn't there for you.
It's all good.
He was born on October 8th, 1951 in Ontario, Canada.
All right.
A little bit about him. He was raised on a farm. His family took in troubled foster children.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, at any time, there would be 6 to 10 children, like,
God
in and
damn.
out of the house. Yeah. The mother and father were of different religions. It didn't specify what religions they were.
Okay.
But they were different.
Got it.
He took his mom's side more than his father's, and that kind of led to contempt between his father and him.
A little turmoil.
Yeah, a little bit of turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
And he was gay,
Okay, well, there you go.
which probably also led to more, like, disdain from his father.
Yeah.
And it was also abnormal at the time in rural Ontario. So it was
Yeah.
kind of a small town. He eventually gets married, has a son and a daughter, and
Oh,
yeah, he's just like faking his way through.
okay.
shit.
He's got his beard.
Mm-hmm. But he began having affairs with men in the early 1990s,
Mm-hmm.
and the wife was just kind of like, yeah, all right, whatever.
Okay, you do you, boo-boo.
Yeah, he came out to her, and they continued to live together, and just he would go see men.
Uh-huh. Sounds like a pretty sweet setup.
Yeah. They started to have financial troubles, in part because their son, Todd,
Fucking Todd.
was obsessively making obscene phone calls to women he didn't know. Fucking
Sounds like a Todd thing to
It
do.
is a Todd thing to do. I hope Todd listens to this. Todd's our friend.
Yeah.
Not this Todd. I don't know this Todd.
I don't know this Todd at all.
But we have a friend named Todd who's also a weirdo.
He would make obscene phone calls.
Yeah. So they ended up declaring bankruptcy in 1999. He separates from his wife and moves to Toronto, where there was a larger gay scene. So he's like,
I need to get out of this small town.
yeah, I'm going to do the second half gay.
Yeah.
I keep trying to tell my dad to do that, but he won't.
Yeah.
There's a place called Church and Wellesley. I believe, like, it's their gay village. That's just what it's called.
Yeah.
He frequents bars there, and he ends up having a 4-year, like, serious relationship with a man.
Okay.
But they broke up, and he ended up seeing a psychiatrist because of that, because he was kind of messed up.
God damn.
Yeah. And so then he's like, you know what? I'm going to become a landscaper.
Oh, okay. A little
Big
change of pace.
Yeah. And so in 2001, Bruce meets a sex worker from a chat line.
Heyo.
Yeah. They end up having sexy times.
Oh,
and-
heyo.
Yeah. And then on Halloween of 2001, he was invited to this guy's apartment to see his Halloween costume. And so he's like, hell yeah, let's go see.
Uh-huh.
Don't know what it was.
Come over to my house. Let me show you my Halloween costume.
I feel like it was just a lure, a ruse.
Yeah. I'm going to
For
be some
sex.
slutty. Be a slutty broomstick.
So Bruce goes to this guy's apartment. Bruce hits the man in the back of the head several times with an iron pipe.
Oh, shit.
Quote, that he often carried. What? Oh, that's my pipe.
I often carry this.
I just need to lay pipe. Ew.
Did he have it in his pant leg?
I don't know. I assume
His
a jacket.
arm sleeve,
Also,
and he's just
it's,
like...
it's Canada, so I assume it's always cold, but it's also Halloween, so it's probably real cold. The guy was obviously knocked out. He was knocked out. He later woke up and called 911, and it was so bad he needed stitches on his head and his fingers.
Oh.
Because I guess there was some, like, defensiveness
Yeah.
going on, too. And physiotherapy.
Dang.
So then Bruce turns himself in, but said he didn't remember the attack or why he would have done it.
Well,
And
then
he-
how does he know he did it?
probably because the guy was like, it was Bruce. And Bruce was like, I mean, yeah, probably. So then he went into the place.
Sounds like something I do.
But no, it didn't, because he was like, no, I would never.
That's so weird.
Who, me? Yeah, I carry an iron pipe, but...
Yeah, often.
but I would never hit anyone with it. I just
Would I?
carry it to hold. So he ends up pleading guilty to assault with a weapon and causing bodily harm. He got nearly 2 years of conditional sentencing, which he served 1 year under house arrest, a 10 p.m. curfew for 6 months, and then 3 years probation. So he
That's
did
it?
no actual jail time. Yeah.
Wow.
But, I mean, he had turned himself in. They were
Yeah,
like...
he was pretty cooperative, it sounds like.
Yeah. They
Ish.
believe that the attack might have been caused because he was taking anti-seizure medication, and...
He had a seizure while holding the pipe.
No. And mixing it with a drug called amyl nitrate.
Ah, yes, that amyl nitrate.
Yeah, which on the street it's called poppers.
Ooh, hey-oh. What do they make you do?
It enhances your sexual pleasure.
Oh, that's not what I saw coming. You wouldn't think something for sexual pleasure causes violence.
Yeah.
No matter what you mix it with.
I don't know, man. I'm not a doctor.
Listen, I get it. I'm with you, though.
So during his probation, he was banned from church in Wellesley, except for work or medical appointments. He wasn't allowed to have firearms or drugs, specifically poppers. They were like, listen,
No more boners here.
you can't handle your poppers.
Yeah.
In April 2008, he applied for and was granted a pardon against that, and his whole slate was wiped clean, so it wasn't going to show up on his record or anything anymore, this whole attack.
Yeah, starting new.
So he joins a bunch of dating apps, such as...
You okay?
Yeah, this one got me. Manjam.com.
I wonder what that's about.
I don't know. I didn't Google it.
No.
Or just
We can
go
we
to-
can figure it out.
I just like Manjam. What a clever name.
That's pretty clever.
Grinder, you know, the usual.
Yep.
Daddy Hunt.
Oh, hey, oh. He was
Squirt.
looking for a daddy. Ew.
And Facebook. The usuals.
Squirt. I can only imagine that it's where couples come together and talk about their love for the soda squirt.
Yeah, probably. I do like it.
Yeah.
Lemon, lime, what is it?
It's squirt.
There were a lot listed, but I just chose the best ones.
Yeah, obviously you took the top ones.
Yeah. So he joins a bunch of dating apps. And since 2007, he's living in a 19th floor apartment.
Ooh.
Whoa. First of all.
Fancy. Fancy.
Yeah. That's a long elevator ride.
Yeah, 19 floors.
Yeah. In a neighborhood of mostly immigrants, just 3 miles away from Church and Wellesley. So he's like
In town. He's
Yeah.
close.
pretty close to the scene.
To scene.
He became a self-employed landscaper.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Mm-hmm.
His business was called Artistic Designs.
Ooh, so he was doing like the puppy dog bushes?
No. No, he
Like the
wasn't.
dinosaur shrubs?
No, he wasn't Edward Scissorhandsing it at all.
Aww.
But a guy that installed fountains and waterworks stuff said that Bruce was more of a gardener working with hand tools out of his van as opposed to a landscaper.
Oh, okay.
But it might have just been him talking shit.
oh, that's not shade. He's throwing shade in the gardening community.
Yeah.
He's just a dude with a van.
He's
not a-
not even a landscaper.
He's not a landscaper. He's a gardener.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, like, ooh, okay.
I
Jeez.
fucking would have called him the exact same thing.
Sorry, snob.
Yeah. Where's your fucking puppy dog bush?
It's like you a
Sounds
ghost
weird.
and me a spirit. That's a Twix commercial. Any
God, we're
landscaper
cutting you
/
off.
gardener listening to this is like, they're not the fucking same.
I know, they're so appalled right now.
That's fine.
They're like, I can make your bush a snake.
Okay, so he had an older man who worked with him that seemed to be romantically involved with, and
Oh.
usually a day laborer, mostly of Southeast Asian or Middle Eastern descent.
Mm-hmm.
That is important because later in the story you will find out he has a type.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he has employees, so he's doing pretty good for a gardener.
Yeah, but I mean he's calling himself a landscaper. I'll call him a landscaper. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's doing pretty good,
All right. All right.
even if he's romantically involved with one of them.
Yeah. How's Todd doing through all this?
Oh, weird side note about Todd.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know, the son who originally got in trouble for calling ladies.
Yes.
Well, he was sentenced to 14 months in jail in 2014
What?
for making obscene phone calls to women.
Wait, he got jail time?
Yeah. Well, he was released on bail in order to stay with his dad and work at his landscaping business.
Oh.
But he never quite accepted that his dad was gay, so I'm sure it was like a really fun situation for everyone involved.
That sounds great.
Yeah. There was some account of like Todd's friend coming over and seeing a bunch of naked pictures of men with like full-on erections,
Boners.
boners, up on the wall. And
On the wall?
yeah,
This is my wall art.
yeah, this is
I need
just where
veiny dicks.
this is where I keep my full mast.
Raging hard cocks. That's what gives me inspiration. Like I'm nice and veiny. I want them angry.
Why is that one purple?
That one's real angry.
Yeah, well, it was just up on. They were just up on the wall, and so the friend was like, "What?
What's with the dicks?
fuck?" Yeah, and Todd was just like, "Yeah, man, that's my dad."
Yeah,
and,
he loves those dicks.
And Bruce was just like laughed it off, like, "Yeah, it's just where I keep them."
Oh, God.
So, meanwhile,
Yeah.
gay men have been going missing since at least 2010.
Oh no, is there dicks on the wall?
Maybe.
Okay.
One in particular has a name that I can't pronounce.
Yes, naturally.
I'm going to do it now.
Peace be with you on your journey.
Thank you. Skandaraj?
Nailed it. Perfect. Beautiful.
He went by Skanda.
Okay.
He, in particular, has been missing since 2010. Someone posted on a cannibal website that,
Oh God.
yep, that they had killed and eaten a man in Toronto. And so the police were like, oh, let's create a task force.
Why would you do that on the internet? Why would you be like, if you really did this thing?
Because people think that they're anonymous on the internet
And people
because
are
people
dumb.
are stupid.
Yeah. Okay.
So they created a task force called Project Houston in 2012, and it was specifically to look for Skanda because they thought that he was the guy that may or may not have been eaten by this cannibal.
God.
Yeah, turns out the guy didn't eat anybody.
Okay.
But
That was a big cliffhanger.
yeah, I know. You're welcome. But the Project Houston, like that whole task force, they caught this other guy for possessing and making child porn.
Ew, no.
Yeah, and who had entered into a cannibalistic sexual contract with a teenager from Colorado.
Jesus Christ.
Who the fuck is entering these contracts?
And a teenager? My
Yeah.
God. What do you know about that at a teenager?
Yeah, you have, like, no worldview.
No.
So, I mean, like, the Project Houston people are doing some good stuff.
Yeah, they're finding some bad peeps.
Yeah,
putting
but
them
they
away.
didn't find Skanda yet.
Okay.
So the Project Houston is also looking for other people that are missing, like other gay men that have been missing, but they're focusing on gay men in this community. Mm-hmm. Bruce was linked to 2 of the missing men through his dating apps.
Really?
Yeah, and was interviewed in 2013 as a possible witness. Mm-hmm. But just as a possible witness.
Okay.
Like, hey,
you
you've
dated
met
them and they went missing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there was no links to disappearances or that crimes had been committed or anything. Mm-hmm. So in 2016, there was still no suspect to these missing people.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have a body or anything, they're just missing.
Yep, they're just missing. And so, I mean, maybe there's not even a crime, right?
Yeah.
So then June 26th, 2017, another man named Andrew Kinsman ends up disappearing, but he was really active in the gay community and like everybody loved him and he was a bartender and so everyone was like, no, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
where the fuck did he go?
yeah, this
We
guy,
like him. Come back.
There's something wrong. He didn't just like, he's not missing. Something
Yeah.
happened, you
Yeah.
know? Or I mean, he is missing, but
But yeah.
he didn't run away.
Yeah.
And so friends went to his house and his cat was out of food and water. And I guess
No.
it was like an old cat, like 18 years old or something.
Oh.
And they're like, this guy wouldn't leave his fucking cat. Like,
Yeah.
Something happened to him. So another task force was created.
Oh man, they're just throwing them out left and right, huh?
Yeah. I guess they're really easy to
Form.
create.
It's like
Form.
2 dudes, like
Just get some rings.
a patch to sew on your jacket.
Yeah. This one's called Project Prism.
Ooh, where do they get these names from?
I don't know. I think it's like a magic 8-ball or like a name generator because
Magic 8-ball.
why?
Shaking it's just
Maybe.
random ass words. Octagon. Project Octagon. Sounds pretty
Submit
good.
that somewhere. I'm sure it'll be
Okay.
the next one.
Okay, that'll be us finding Alyssa's body. Project Octagon.
Yeah. Well, this task force was made in July 2017 to find Andrew, and another man named Salim Essen,
Ah, yes.
who disappeared a couple months before Andrew.
Okay.
Well, they're also kind of adopting the Project Houston, too.
Okay.
So then the gay community there was, like, terrified because they're, like,
Yeah, people are missing.
yeah, their
Coming up
people are
missing.
going missing, and they don't know if it's, like, a serial killer or what.
Mm-hmm.
And so hotlines were set up for people that might have been afraid to speak to the police or the people that didn't want to come out as being in that scene or something.
Yeah.
Ravines were searched weekly, like
Jeez.
ravines in the area,
Mm-hmm.
and then daily,
Oh, my God.
like looking for bodies, but
Yeah.
it's snowing.
Oh, God, that sounds miserable.
So this task force is led by Detective Sergeant Hank Idsinga. I just like to say Detective Sergeant Hank because
Yep.
my dog's name is Hank.
Yep, I like it. Detective Sergeant Hank.
Yep. And in August of 2017, Bruce was linked to Andrew Kinsman, which is suspicious as fuck because of his previous links to the other guys from Project
Yeah.
Houston. And so they're like,
Interesting.
let's look into this Bruce guy, right?
Yeah.
So police found Bruce's Dodge Caravan. It's just another creepy ass white van. It's more like a minivan than like a utility van or one of those.
Yeah.
But it's still spooky because it's a white van.
Yeah. Creepy.
But his van had been sold the previous month, and so they found the guy that bought it, and they had it towed and found trace amounts of blood
Oh, God.
of Andrew's.
So that was his murdering van.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole time, there's this home that Bruce had an arrangement with, like this random ass residence, that he was like, yo, I'll landscape for you. Can I keep my tools in your garage? And they were like, totally, I trust you.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So cadaver dogs were brought in, but they didn't find anything. And so police put up a camera to monitor the garage, and they end up getting a warrant for Bruce's apartment and cell phone to like track his cell phone.
Yeah.
Here's where it gets weird. I don't think this is legal in the United States, but apparently in Canada it is. They entered his apartment without his knowledge because
Oh.
they had a warrant, but like he didn't know that they went in there or anything.
I think if you have a warrant, you could just go in. They don't need to know.
Yeah,
It's
but
better
then-
if they don't know.
what they did is they just copied his hard drive.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Like, they never alert him.
No.
Oh, okay.
Also, doesn't that take like 1,000 hours?
I've never tried to copy a hard drive.
Well, it says they cloned it.
I've defragged one before, and that takes 100 hours.
Yeah, so I assume doing anything with it takes 1,000 hours.
Yeah.
Like, just going to Fresh and Easy or wherever. What's that place that everybody goes to in Canada?
The Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah, there. It's like Tom Hardy's, but not Tom Hardy's. I don't know. Some, like... it's like
I
our-
don't know anything about Canada.
It's like our Dunkin' Donuts. I don't either, apparently, so...
Everyone is screaming at us right now. You
It's
fucking
not Tom
idiot.
Hardy's. Listen, it's the Hardly Boys. I don't know.
He is... Well, maybe he left to go, like, tap some syrup out of his maple tree.
Does that take a while? I imagine it
For
does.
sure. Syrup is so slow, but that's
Yeah.
all they do in Canada.
I'd walk away from my tree, though. I'd put a bucket or something.
No, he was watching it. Didn't want it to overflow.
You never watch a maple tree drain. It's like
That's
watching
like-
a water boil.
I was going to say, that's the Canadian version of watching water boil.
Yeah, watch a tree drain.
Yeah. So anyway, he left the...
This is all going to get
Apartment,
cut out so
and they
people don't
rate
know I'm
it.
retarded.
I mean, it's really good, though. I feel like it should stay.
All right, we'll see. So the police are looking at all this evidence, but they don't want to arrest him yet because apparently they're looking for more, like a body and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they think that he's high risk, and so they're like, if you see him alone with anyone, fucking get him.
Yeah.
So naturally, Bruce invites over a nice young man,
Mm-hmm.
and police decide to break in and arrest him.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they didn't really break in. They bust down the door. I don't know what they
Ooh.
did. They went in and they were like, hey, nah. They found the man tied up to the bed, but he was unharmed.
Oh, God. Oh, so were they, like, in the middle of something?
Yeah, but he was like shaken up. But they didn't
Oh.
explain if he was shaken up because he literally was like, yeah, sexy time, and then like police bust in.
Yeah, that would
'Cause
shake me up, too.
I'd probably be, and you're tied to a bed, like, okay.
Awkward.
You can arrest him, but like, can you just throw a sheet over me?
Yeah.
Like,
This is weird.
so they get from his apartment 5 cell phones,
Oh,
5
shit.
computers, 3 digital cameras, 12 USB drives,
Oh, my God.
still no bodies.
Are these, like, people's belongings or his own?
Never fucking specified.
What?
Yeah. So They're searching his home and his boyfriend's home, which, okay, he has a boyfriend.
Okay.
Nothing was like, and these people were mad.
Yeah, and this boyfriend was really pissed that he was having sex with another
Yeah.
man strapped to his bed.
Or the boyfriend wasn't like, yeah, he tried to strangle me like twice. Nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
Huh.
okay.
Interesting.
And they also searched the residence where he stored his tools. They
Okay.
bring cadaver dogs back to the storage house, and the dogs mark on some large planter boxes.
Oh, God.
Like 12 large planter boxes were brought to the forensic anthropologist, who, by the way, Canada only has one full-time forensic anthropologist.
Well, I mean, they're so nice up there.
That's like they don't have many murders, and so
Yeah.
it's just this one lady.
Poor lady. Rough day, huh?
Yeah,
Gotta
I
get some
guess.
pots.
Well, it was snowing, and the planters were frozen, so they couldn't.
Did they have dirt in them?
Yeah,
Okay.
but they couldn't like dig into them or anything until they
Defrosted?
thawed a little bit. So
They just bring them inside for an hour?
yeah, she brought them inside for a couple of days.
Oh, it takes days. How big were these planters?
I think they were huge.
Oh, okay.
So she brought it inside. It's starting to thaw. It starts to smell,
Oh, God.
and she X-rays it, and
no.
there's something unusual in it. So she calls Detective Sergeant Hank because she's like,
We got a situation.
"Yeah, I'm about to open this bad boy up, and there's gonna be a thing."
Yeah. There's something in here.
So
I love that she has like an X-ray machine too. Just like,
Yeah.
I'm just fucking. Why didn't you do that? I would be so impatient. I would do that before I let it thaw and realize it stunk.
Well, they also said that it might have been ice, and so I think that might
Oh, okay.
affect it. But also,
It's
it
just
wasn't
black.
It wasn't ice.
Yeah.
So she finds a human head,
Oh my God.
torsos,
Oh my God.
limbs, all in all 7 sets of remains.
Jesus Christ.
All of the men that were missing from Project Houston, and Andrew,
No.
and the other guy, Essen, that was his last name, they were all,
Oh no.
their bits were found in there. They searched planters from all across the city because
Oh my
he was a landscaper,
God.
right?
Yeah.
But the only ones that had human remains in them were 2 of them from the residence where he kept his tools.
Holy shit, that's so fucked up.
Yeah. He was eventually charged with 8 counts of first-degree murder.
Wait, were those 2 planters had all 7 bodies in them?
Yeah.
Holy shit, they must have been massive.
Yeah. They were dismembered.
Yeah, but still a torso.
Yeah. But it was in 2. So police also believe that he could have been responsible for many more murders, including a series of murders where gay men were found in their homes, naked, tied to their beds, and stabbed or beaten to death.
Oh, Jesus.
But like overkill stabbed or beaten.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There were no actual links to Bruce, but just like us, the police like to speculate a lot.
Uh-huh.
And so they can't charge him with those.
Yeah, but they're like, I'm pretty sure this dude did this too.
Yeah. After the snow thawed, they took 7 cadaver dogs out to a ravine that was behind the property where he stored his tools.
Uh-huh.
And they searched for 10 days, and they found human remains every day of the search.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You found his, like, murdering grounds.
Yeah, or his storing
Yeah,
grounds.
his little storage site.
Yeah. All in all, 8 victims were identified. They were mostly immigrants. They were aged 37 to 58 that he had picked up from dating apps
Oh my God.
and sex work. Like,
Jesus.
one was a prostitute.
Yeah.
Well, the one that he had attacked originally was a sex worker. But,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that guy didn't die.
Yeah.
Or around the gay village.
Be careful on those dating apps, people.
I'm telling
There's
you, man.
weirdos out there.
Weirdos are on the internet. Don't meet people online. Or do. I guess you don't have a choice nowadays. I don't know.
Why are you yelling at our listeners?
I'm not in the game.
Be very careful.
Be very careful. Background checks, people.
Yes.
As of November 5th, 2018, which was just,
Holy shit.
earlier this month,
Yeah.
Bruce is being held at the Toronto South Detention Center, but a trial is still most likely a few years away.
Why?
Because they just found all this stuff in 2017, like the end of 2017,
It's crazy that it takes so long
to gather all the
here's
evidence
all the
and
bodies.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you have to be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he is the one responsible for all those killings. But
Yeah, because if you try him on any of this stuff, it's going to be like you can only try him once, right?
yeah,
See.
well, and another thing too, like with circumstantial evidence and shit, which I'm sure a lot of this is, if any of it gets not admissible into the case, then you're fucked. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you have to consider that when you're building your argument.
Yeah.
Like, what if this one piece gets left out, my whole story falls apart.
Yeah, exactly. So they're building the case against him right now. And since the trial hasn't happened yet or anything, I wasn't able to find like his account or his side of the story of what happened.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, or any like interrogations, anything that he might have said in interviews, anything like that.
So we'll have to see
Yep.
how this unfolds.
So
What the fuck?
maybe there'll be an update on that one someday.
So he was just like killing them and chopping them up and throwing them in planters, huh?
Yep, in planters on this like couple's home.
Well, I wonder, was he like chopping them up at the couple's home?
I don't think so.
Oh, the van. You said the van had blood in
The
it,
van
right?
had blood in it, but that could have been from when he killed him too.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah. I don't know when he
Gross.
was chopping them up. I mean, he could have been doing it at their house because I guess he would know when they're not home or something.
Every time with these cases, I'm like, that's so much work to chop somebody up.
Yeah.
And he chopped up multiple people.
At least 8.
That's a fucking commitment. You have
Yeah.
to have a station for that. A home base, a headquarters.
Yeah, you got to have your body room. And he's on the 19th floor of an apartment. Can we address that again? Because how are you getting these bodies down fucking the elevator? Are you just
Well,
weekend
maybe-
at burning them out? Weekend at burning them out? Make that a verb.
You okay? Did you jerk out? Do you need something to bite on? You don't swallow your tongue? Having a seizure?
Yes, maybe. I don't know. I'm just confused. Like, how do you get him out? Put
Well,
some
maybe it
sunglasses
didn't
on?
happen in his apartment.
Maybe.
Or he just got like a little...
But they found the guy in his apartment
That's true.
when they bust in.
Oh, dude, you think that guy has a crazy-ass story? Like, I probably was going to get murdered that night?
Hell yeah.
Damn,
That
that's
guy's probably
crazy.
living life right now.
Shit.
You're alive.
That's
Keep going.
weird.
Yeah. Well,
Terrifying.
that's my story of the lawnmower man.
Interesting.
I don't know why he's called the lawnmower man, other than he
Mows
used
lawns.
a
And it's a
lawnmower
man.
at one point in his life. Like, it's not very
Indicative of his
Yeah.
crime.
relevant to the crimes.
I guess kind of, because he was a gardener or a landscaper, depending on who you're talking to.
I guess I'd call him like the planter box murderer.
Ooh, I like it. It'll
But,
stick.
So that's my story.
Oh, well, it was really fucking great.
Thank you.
Slash horrifying and awful.
Slash per usual.
That's right. All right. Well, we have a shout out for Jackie Wood.
What? Hey girl, hey.
Hey, girl, hey. Dude, she's been blowing us up on like Twitter and Facebook and everything, and she's been super involved and
Yeah,
saying
she
how
has.
awesome we are. I fucking love Jackie.
I do too. I was sending you screenshots of all those things, like,
You
oh my god,
were.
look at this. And you're like, yeah, I know. I was like, okay, I love her.
I love her.
She's amazing.
So thank you, Jackie, for all the love. Keep it coming. Go convert all your friends. Tell other people.
Yeah,
Tell your coworkers. Keep making those faces at work.
we appreciate you, motherfucker.
That's right, we do. That's right, we do. Don't you forget it.
Oh, you know what? Someone that was trying to leave a review told me, they were like, hey, I left you a review. And I was like, oh my god, you're amazing. Thank you so much. And then I didn't see it.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like, hey, I love you, but also I don't see it.
Yeah, like, where did it go?
Yeah, and I had waited for a little while, like a couple days, and they went back into their account and looked, and it was still there, but they had to hit submit again for some reason for it to pop up.
Yeah, like, but then when
Yeah.
you go back into it, it'll, like, pull up your review again. Like, you don't have to retype it. You just have to hit submit again.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's a thing that might be happening, but we're
So if you
getting some
don't see
reviews and
your-
everything.
yeah.
But if you don't see yours, that might be happening. You might want to double check it because we like to see them too.
Yes, you have no idea how much your reviews mean to us. Like, every time a new one comes up, we get so excited to hear that people are listening and to know that you guys care enough to go out there and, like, help promote us to other people to
Yeah.
encourage them to listen. It means the world to us. So thank you so much. Keep doing it. Tell more people to do it.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Also, if you want to talk to us on Twitter, tweet at us at ISGD Podcast. If you want to send us an email about any cases you want us to do or anything that we fuck up, or you know, if you just want to say, what's up, baby, then our email is isgdpodcast@gmail.com. Our P.O. Box
is 2764 Spring Valley, California, 91979.
So you should send us some snail mail because it's getting really sad every time Erin checks it. Nothing's there.
It's true. I checked it today, and there was 2 letters in there for a man that used to have our P.O. box.
Aww.
And I wrote on there, because I got these letters like 2 days ago, and I wrote on there, not at this address, and I put them back in the mail, and then they put them back in my P.O. box. And so then today I saw them again, and I was like, motherfuckers. So then I circled my original note that says not at this address. I circled it like, I don't know, a reasonable 24 times to be like, look at this.
Get this out of here.
So we'll see if those are there tomorrow.
I like your passive-aggressive approach.
What else am I supposed to do?
Take it to the people at the counter?
Oh, no, there's always a line. Fuck that.
Okay.
I'm not waiting in line to be like, this isn't me. And they'd be like, well, okay, thank you. And then they'd go put it back in my P.O. box. I'm like, motherfucker.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is. So next time I'll just draw arrows pointing at the circles.
That's right. I like it. Mm-hmm. Stop it.
I'm about to turn to Liam Neeson and find this guy.
Maybe he needs us.
Are you okay? Can you describe your surroundings? My house, my podcast room is going to turn into like just the pins and string hanging together.
Dude, I'm not shitting you for this Alyssa case. I was like, I need to buy a map and I need to plot out all the spots within a radius of Phoenix, Arizona that could take like, let's say 2.5 hours to drive to.
Yeah.
So that you can get there and back, and then everybody needs to search for a body in that radius.
Everyone will be assigned some coordinates.
Yes, I think it's a great idea.
That is a good idea.
Especially if you live in the area, you're so close.
Yeah.
We're so close.
We are pretty close.
Or if we got a drone, just fucking fly that shit around and then go back and review the footage.
I have a drone.
Does it have cameras?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Not good cameras, but it has a camera on it.
Oh, interesting.
And you watch it from your phone, so you could just fly it around and like look at it.
We need to go to the desert.
All right.
You guys help us.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Desert meetup.
Yep, desert
Nope,
meetup.
that's how we die.
That's a bad idea. Maybe one day when we're brave.
Yeah.
We'll have
we're
a body
well
hunt.
equipped.
Yeah. Anyway.
Thanks for listening, guys. As always, we love you. You're awesome.
Deuces.
Bye.
And if you're all caught up on our podcast, stick around for a promo from Pipin' Hot Tea.
Hey everyone, I'm Vince.
And I'm Emily, and we are hosts of
Pipin' Hot Tea. Pipin' Hot Tea is a comedy podcast where we discuss anything and everything.
You will not find another podcast like us. We bring you fresh, new, off-the-wall topics that are relatable and fun.
You can listen to our podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter for episode updates, debates, and so much more.
If you want to connect with us, use the hashtag Pipin' Hot Podcast. You may hear us fight sometimes, because we pretty much fight in every episode.
Seriously? Did you have to bring that up in the promo?
What?
Honestly. Okay, well, you might as well just end it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.